Well, would it shock you to know that almost half of all Americans do not carry any life insurance? The reason it's surprising is because 70% say they need coverage. So why do so many of us avoid getting this very important coverage, and how do you know if you have enough?
Matthew Hallbrook is a financial representative with Country Financial, and he's here with one very important question he wants all of us to ask ourselves. Hi, Matthew. What is, I'm sure I know the question, but tell everybody, what is the one question?
Why don't you have life insurance?
Yeah.
Right. Why?
It's easy.
Especially if you own a house. So if you own a house, you should have life insurance.
So you have this big, massive, probably debt for the house there, and you have nothing to cover it should something happen. A lot of clients where I talk to them, it's like, okay, so husband and wife, if this person passes away, would you have to sell the house? A lot of times the answer is yes. It's like, okay, I'll let you guys talk now and kind of fight about that, so they realize, why don't we just take care of this right now?
Exactly. So you think it's important for both spouses to have life
absolutely,
insurance?
because it's a lot of times, I mean, if both are working, I mean, then yes, there's income to replace, but if somebody's staying home taking care of the kids, well, I mean, people that have the daycares, they know how expensive those are. They're not cheap. I mean, we have daycare and it's almost like another mortgage.
Yeah, it's crazy. Why do you think more people don't have life insurance?
Because they think it's hard to get and hard to acquire, and it's not like Amazon where you can just go on and click. So a lot of people think, okay, it's this big process, I have to do all this, and then I tell them it's actually not too hard. I can send you the documents, you click to sign, boom, you're done.
Does people get worried about the money of how much it costs?
Yeah, a lot of people think it is expensive. So when you look at either a term policy or a whole life, that's like talking Spanish to most people with that. And they think it's going to be astronomically high for the cost. But when you look at the cost of it, less than a phone bill, sometimes even a quarter of the phone bill. So it's not expensive.
Right, we're willing to spend it on our smartphones.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So a lot of people have life insurance through their employer. Some companies even provide it at no extra charge. They offer life insurance. Sometimes you pay a little extra depending on how much coverage you want. Is that usually enough?
A lot of times no, because what they do, they'll either do like a 2-time salary or a 3-time salary. So say your salary is $50,000. That's $150,000 in coverage, assuming that you have that 3 times coverage for the employer. And then say you live in a $250,000 house, well, that doesn't even cover the mortgage on there.
Right, exactly. So you talked about the process and it being simple. What do I have to do step by step to get life insurance?
First, call me or call anybody out there. I want people just to get something in place, whether you have a person you work with or you need somebody like me to help you. Just make that phone call, shoot an email, say, hey, I saw this guy talking about this on Friday. How do I get this?
Yeah, and how do you get it? Because a lot of people wonder if there are going to be a lot of medical exams, maybe blood work, things like that.
Yeah, and that depends on the size of the policy. So a lot of times the policy is all right. I want it to be significant for the client, but also affordable. So what they do the urine, the blood, and for that the person comes to you, so they send a nurse to you.
Right, they come right to your house.
And a lot of people don't know that. They're like, where do I have to go to get this? It's like, well, you can have them come to your house, you can have them come to your office, wherever you want. I had them come to my house so I could hold my wife's hand while they did the blood. I don't really love needles, but I know I need that to protect my family, so I got that policy in place.
Yeah, and it's worth it, certainly. And you can look at plans that fit your budget. You know, it's not just like, here's what life insurance costs. It depends on how much coverage you want, what assets you're trying to protect, who you're trying to provide for, how many children you have. Things like that.
And the way I set it up, it's okay, let's underwrite you to make sure you actually qualify first, and then once we have you approved with underwriting, then we can kind of hammer out the details, figure out that what fits in the budget and what's significant for you to have on the policy.
When you mention qualifying, I know a lot of people might have pre-existing conditions where they're really worried that that might disqualify them. What are some of the things that they need to consider?
So if somebody has a pre-existing condition, I mean, I can call an underwriter pretty quickly and say, hey, this person has this, and we can get that answer. But the person just has to let me know about it. So if they have questions, call me, I can let them know. But that also speaks to getting the policy early enough in life. So a lot of people, they wait until they're, 50 years old or
where they've got conditions.
Where they have conditions. So it's like, just get that policy in place right away in your 20s and your 30s. If you have it, I mean, you're all set, but it's just get it in place while you're healthy.
And there's a difference between term life and whole life life insurance. You can explain that to people and you can help them decide which one is best for them. But doesn't Country Financial currently have some great term life options?
Yeah, we do. And it's the actuaries, they looked at all the costs of things and they said, okay, let's lower the cost of this term here. So now even policies that I had prior, now they're cheaper. So I had to do the re-underwriting and do all that.
Good.
So it's like, oh, more needles.
Yeah. Yes, but if I was a client, I would be so thankful that you were calling me to say, hey, we can redo this.
Yeah, exactly. So they got even more affordable for the client now. So now it's, I mean, I ran one for a client the other day. It was $250,000 in coverage and it was $20 a month.
Wow. See, that's very rich. That's the kind of safe and secure plan that's very, very affordable, and there's no reason not to have it, especially because I know you try to make it simple for people.
I do, because if I can't get the person completed within a day there, if it's a 3-part process, they're like, no.
Right. Yeah, we all need it fast.
Yeah, exactly.
As a parent, I have to be honest, the reason I have life insurance, the reason I didn't like doing it or thinking about it is you don't want to think about your own death and your children needing that kind of protection, but it's the smart thing to do.
And people insure their cars, but they don't insure themselves.
And their homes, absolutely.
It's like insure the biggest asset you have, which is you.
Yeah. For sure. And people can reach out to you, Matthew, a couple different ways. They can call your office. You're located on North Oakland Avenue in Shorewood. It's 414-366-3918. Or you can email him confidentially. He'll get back to you if you go to matthew.holbrook@countryfinancial.com. That's the way that you can get in touch and send him an email and say, hey, let's talk life insurance. Let's get together.
On this fun Friday.
Make it simple for me.
It should be fun. It should be fun to know you're taking care of your family.
Exactly.
Great to see you. Thank you so much.
Guys.
Have a good weekend, too.
You too.